What's going on, everybody? I'm Bill.
I'm Susie.
This is my wife, Susie. And today is Martin Luther King. So what does that mean? That means huge discounts at your thrift stores. So today was a 50% off at our thrift stores. And as you can tell by the table, we took great advantage of the deal. So what did we get?
A lot. We got a lot. So we have some really cool athletic shoes over here. We also have some of the more dressy shoes, work and fun type of shoes, and even some bags and a couple of men's shoes sprinkled throughout. But most of them are really the women's shoes. That's what we do most of our business with.
So like I said in the last video, I made the statement on why is a man buying women's gear, and I also had a comment from that video of another man saying, hey, I'm glad to see that another man is buying women's stuff to thrift. And the reason why I do it is a lot because of my wife, but mainly because women's stuff is huge profits. The brands are huge and the profits are really large.
Something that I wanted to add about that is we do have to be careful. What I've noticed is women are a lot tougher on their shoes than men. And so we can see 100 shoes and maybe 5 to 10 of them are not destroyed. Whereas with men, there's actually a lot more in a ratio. So we were really lucky today and really excited about what we found.
So we started at 9:30 this morning and we hit 4 Goodwills. So we are fortunate enough to have about 5 or 6 Goodwills within our vicinity of about a 10-mile radius of us. Some of them are not as good as others. We have maybe 2 that are like really good pawns that we go. So when we have 50% offs, we go to the case. So inside of our Goodwills, there's a case called Treasure Island. It's basically everything that they think is the top brands, and they put them inside this case, and they mark them up way more than they do with the regular shoes and items that are just out on the shelves.
And sometimes they're not even the big brands. They just put them in there because they are new. So keep that in mind. Just because it's in the case does not mean that it is a big brand and you're going to make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah. So, we're dealing with Goodwill, and, what they think are big brands are, sometimes they're not big brands, but like Susie just said, they are new shoes. So they feel that if they're new, that they should get more money for them.
They're going to get more money for them.
Yeah. So in this video, we just want to, teach you what we do, how to do it, kind of what to look for, some of the brands to look for. In a second, I'm going to get up, I'm going to grab the camera, and we're going to get in depth with some of this stuff. I'm going to show you what we paid for it, and I'm also going to kind of tell you what I'm going to put it up in our thrifting store. So we do have a couple of different stores. We have a Poshmark store that is, over the past probably month, has really taken off. And we have been working that really hard. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind on when you're thrifting is not just the brand, but the style of the item that you're buying, and also the condition of the item. So when we walk around and look, I'm going to show you exactly what we look for when we say, okay, we're going to buy this and put it in our store. So again, these are straight out of the bags. We have not touched them. We have not cleaned them. And that's part of the big process that we do. We clean everything. We make sure everything is fresh. The tennis shoes we wash. A lot of people don't, but we do, because we feel that the items in our store have to be top-notch for our customers. If not, they won't come back, because it's just another used item. And we want to make it feel not only, yes, it's used, but we also want to make the customer feel that it's like almost brand new. So that's how we do it.
That's really important. We will find styles that we really like. And sometimes if they're nicked up, we're not going to purchase them, even if we think we might make a decent profit on it, because sometimes people don't really care if there's a little spot on it or imperfection. So we just look at it and see what that is and how detrimental it is to the purchase, and also what our client is going to think. We want to make sure when they get them that they're happy. If they knew that there's a little mark on it and they were okay with it, then that's okay. But those are rare. We really don't do very much that has imperfections. Wear and natural wear for a fairly new shoe, that's acceptable. We just don't want the other stuff that really somebody's going to look at and then be unhappy.
Yeah, so, and what we're trying to avoid are returns. So just because you have a huge brand, but it's kind of scuffed up and marked up, the customer can always return it. Doesn't matter what platform they're on, and that's what we want to avoid. So we want to make sure that our stuff is in great condition, and it's going to look almost brand new after we clean them and polish them and things like that. On our leather goods, like our nice leather shoes, we have a whole kit for nothing but leather shoes. Things to treat the leather, to soften it, to shine it, to buff it, because we want to make sure that shoe looks brand new by the time the customer receives it.
Basically, we want it to look good enough and smell and be clean enough that we would use it, or our kids would wear them. It's not just about them being good enough for a customer. They have to be good enough for us, which might even be a higher standard.
And it's funny she says that, because there's a lot of times where we'll buy something and I say, ooh, that's my size.
Yeah, he's got to stop doing that. That's not good. It's not helping.
Yeah.
Not helping. He has more shoes than I do, I think.
Yeah, I take a lot of the shoes because you pay $6 for them, and they're $80 shoes, and they're just awesome shoes. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna get up, grab the camera, and we're gonna dive into what we bought. Okay, so here's kind of a good overview of the things that we got. I mean, we have some really, really cool stuff. Also, don't be afraid to buy a name you've never heard of. I have never heard of Jeffrey West, but that's why you do comps, you do comparisons on whatever platform you're on, and you just kind of see, what they're selling for. These shoes right here, these look almost brand new. They have a little wear on the bottom, but the heel, you always want to look at the heel when you're buying shoes and what condition the heel is in, and then also the leather. And these things look brand new. So I think we paid $35 for these, and I'll sell these. I'm going to put these up in our store for about $105. I'll probably take probably $70 or $80 for them.
So something else, there are some brands that are pretty oversaturated, and this is a Betsey Johnson, which there's a lot of them. We can find them from time to time. We bought these. A lot of it had to do with the fact that it was just a little fun. That's my word for it, that they're fun. It's something that you would wear, not necessarily business. However, it does have a nice suede, and it even has something fun. I don't know if you know anything about Betsey Johnson, but they do sometimes have these like fun lips, which is really kind of a cool thing. So if you're going to lift up your shoe, that's something to see. So think about the factor. It has to be something interesting. Today was a really good example because I kept saying things like, we can find those anywhere. There's nothing special about them. And that's something that we don't really want to do. Now, we also have an array because we really want to have a lot of volume. We want to have them sell, and we want our store to really have ongoing sales every single day. So sometimes we're not making a huge profit on something. However, we have people returning and going back to our store, and that's really important, especially in something like Poshmark, where people are very social and they're sharing and things like that. So we can talk about that in a later video.
And the one thing to add to Betsey Johnson's, and also with other brands, and Steve Madden is also a brand too.
Not my favorite.
That we've learned, and what we've learned is sometimes you can find them brand new, like in an outlet store, and you pay a little bit too much, and people still want to pay used prices even though they're brand new in the box. So Betsey Johnson, Steve Madden, brands like that, don't buy new unless you get them for super, super cheap. Always buy them used because you'll make way more profit. So we paid $20 minus our 50% discount. So we paid $10 for these. And, you know, I'll throw them up in the store for probably $40. I'll take $25 for them. You know, it's quantity, right?
Right. So we want to have a lot of quantity. And also, if you're not familiar with some of these brands, feel the weight and also where they're made. That's something that's going to be important. So Betsy Johnson is a good example. It's a heavier shoe. So that's something to keep in mind. When you're buying something that's made in China, super light, someone is going to have a hard time paying more than $10 for a shoe.
So let's look at the purses that we picked up. So this one I found and I just jumped all over it. So we live in Florida and Disney is in our backyard, and we also belong to a Disney Facebook group. So we know the fanatics out there for Disney World. And this is a Dooney and Burke, and this is just a super, super cool, fun Dooney and Burke Walt Disney World purse. And this is the old school. So this is from 1971. It has the old Mickey ears. It has the old ticket on it.
It's for those of us that know what tickets are all about when you go to Disney World.
Yeah, right. So I think it has Epcot here, 1982. So this is just a really fun bag. I think we paid, let's see, what did we pay? We paid $34 minus 50%.
So about $12.
So we paid about $12. No, we didn't.
Oh, that's not right. Sorry, $17.
$17.
34, right?
34.
Yeah.
$17. So, and this purse alone will probably go for $60 to $80. So that's really exciting. Here's some more. Here's a nice Coach. I always look up, and this is a good tip, pro tip. So Coach has the, let's see if I can get the light in here. Coach has the their serial number inside. Always look up the serial number and make sure that number goes with the bag. Also, to kind of look at to make sure that it's authentic is look at the straps. Make sure that there's no threading coming loose, it's not worn, you know, things like that. That's a sign of a fake Coach bag. And just kind of look at it overall. Look at the hardware. The hardware is huge on fake Coaches. It's really cheap hardware. So it's actually easy to look for an authentic Coach or not. So all these are authentic Coaches. I mean, this is just a super, super awesome purse. And we'll get big money for these.
Yeah. And, you know, we were talking about some of the brands that aren't necessarily big money and they're a little oversaturated. So this is Vera Bradley. So you can see this is Vera Bradley. And we don't get this. And in fact, I don't even know if we've had more than one of these bags. We did get it basically because it's basically new. And it's not the traditional Vera Bradley. So that was something that was a little bit better for us, and we figured it was worth it to go ahead and get it.
Yeah, so I mean the inside is like brand new. The outside is like brand new. We always look at the bottom of purses for wear.
Like this part, and it's a jean type of material, so it's pretty durable. This one just doesn't even look like it was ever used. Exactly.
So we took advantage of that one. Yeah. We got a couple of different shirts.
We don't do much clothing. Some of it is a little bit of an experiment. From time to time we will get a band, especially because that's just something, if they're a big AC/DC fan, then sometimes they're going to look for them. It's not necessarily going to sell real quick. It could. It's more about just having a little bit in our closet that is more interesting. We really want to have people coming back, and all different types of people.
Here's a Lucky Brand tee. This is kind of a graphic tee, which is really cool. So we're also going to start getting into a little bit of the accessories like belts. So here is a diesel belt. This is a men's diesel belt. You paid $8, 50%. So we paid $4 for this belt. I did the comps on this, and this belt sells not what it's listed at. This particular belt sells and has sold for right around $30 to $50. So I thought this was a real nice score.
So this is something that we really haven't done anything with scarves or accent pieces like this. It was just something that was a little bit different and pretty. So we looked up the brand, and this is one that a lot of things are selling really at a nice profit. We do not know what this is going to sell for. We're going to do a little bit more research just to make sure we price it properly. However, it is very trendy, and a person who is looking for something to really add pizzazz to their wardrobe can put something like that on and really make a statement for sure.
So this is a Mary Frances. We did the comps on Mary Frances, and this is probably a $60 scarf.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that. One of the things that was a real score is we did find, check this out, we did find some shoes that were, these are used, okay, but it has the box, but they look, you're probably saying, how are they used? They're brand new, which from the outside, they're brand new. But when you flip them over, you can see
there's slight wear.
There's some slight wear. I mean, we can probably clean this, and I don't know. I mean,
well, they're the type that I would probably say they were worn once, maybe, and not out anywhere that got them dirty. So they're going to get a higher price. And that's the other thing. Somebody else may have a Sperry type of shoe, which these are good shoes. They don't get a high price. The big thing is these are going to look better than everybody else's. So if they're looking for something that's a casual, fun shoe, then this is something that might work for them.
Here is here's another nice little score. Here are some Cole Haans in the box, brand new. Look at this, brand new with the lid and everything. Look at these.
We sell a lot of Cole Haan.
We sell a lot of Cole Haan. Is an awesome brand.
Yeah,
I mean, these are brand new.
Very durable, very comfortable, and people love them.
And we paid $10 for these Cole Haans, brand new in the box.
This is something that when it comes to Cole Haan, though, I would be cautious and not buy something that's super ordinary, because you're probably not going to get a whole lot of money.
This is exciting right here. Look at this. Brand new in the box.
Woo.
Bam. Look at those things.
So these are Talbot, which is not a high price. They're not cheap, but they are not a high price brand overall when you're in fashion. However, very cool boots. I like these myself, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I can cram my foot into them.
These are riding boots. I'm not sure if they're horseback riding boots, but they're some kind of riding boots.
Well, I think that they're riding boots, but not real riding boots like you wouldn't actually wear.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Well,
however,
I think we paid, what did we pay for these?
You know what? I don't actually remember. $30.
So we paid $30 for these brand new Talbot in the box. Even with the tissue paper, look at that.
Yeah, they actually have inside. I don't know if you can see that, but they actually have.
Yeah, you can't see it, but they have the tissue paper inside. So these have never been worn.
Yeah.
And somebody just donated these. So we live, in the town that we live in, there's some pretty ritzy areas, and people have more money than sense. So they just like to give their stuff away. Well, they can give it to me all they want, because this is going to go up in my store.
Yeah.
So we're good. So moving on. What else we got going?
Just on the Cole Haan piece, this is another pair. Again, it's something that's a little bit more interesting, which is why we picked them up. So really like these as well. Super nice. They have been worn. However, it may not show up on the camera. They are basically in almost perfect condition. I mean, everything is just really, really clean. And even, I mean, you can see inside, there really wasn't anything.
And we paid $30 minus 50%. These were also in the case.
Yeah.
These were in the case. The boots were in the case.
There were a couple of other things.
Yeah, there was a lot of things in the case.
Yeah, definitely.
So kind of moving on a little bit, let's move on to some athletic stuff. So here we have a pair of All-Star Converse, which are really cool.
And we've sold Converse from time to time. They don't sell quickly necessarily, but they do sell, especially when they have some kind of a fun pattern.
Yeah, so these are a men's 8 and a woman's 10. So these might sit for a little bit, or they might not. It just depends.
It just depends. Somebody that's that likes Converse and wants some kind of a pattern, then
Yep, exactly.
they'll definitely like those.
So we got some fun Skechers. Skechers are not real big ticket items. We paid $8.50, so we paid $4 for these. I'll probably get 18, 19, 20 bucks for them in the store. But these are what I called low hanging fruit. You have to have stuff like this in your store, and not just high end expensive stuff. You have to have something for everybody. So we have a little mixture.
And the thing to keep in mind is the same person could be looking at shoes for them. They may love the heels, and they have a teenage daughter or son that is a Converse nut. And so you want to draw them in, and also the prices just need to be right. And we find that out. Sometimes we price things wrong, and we go back in and we make some adjustments. And fortunately, when we do that, just like anything else, if the right price is there, and they're stylish, and people are going to like them, and they buy them.
That's right.
A good weekend too.
I know you guys are seeing the Batman shoes, and you're probably saying, "Pick those up, pick those up." So I'll pick them up. So these are some really cool Batman loafers, and they're actually Batman, which is cool. When I saw them, I was like, "Oh man, these are going to be Converse, or these are going to be Vans, or something super cool like that." So I'm not expecting to get too terribly much for these. I paid, after discount, I paid $5 for them. So I'll probably get, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks maybe. I just thought they were fun. They were cool. Again, something for everybody. That is another pro tip. Make sure you have something for everybody.
So another thing that we did pick up were these boots. So these are bear claw, and did I say bear claw? It's bear paw. Sorry about that. Bear paw. These are readily available in a lot of stores. It's not like an UGG that is much higher price. However, they do sell for a really good price. And these are in beautiful condition. And right now it's cold. So there are a lot of places where these would be very, very comfy. I've had UGGs before and loved them when it was cold. So that's why we picked them up. Again, really good condition. The price is going to be good because they're not brand new, and yet really, really nice and also stylish. They're not the standard ones. They do have some embellishment on them, which I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera. Yeah, you
can see them. Yep, they have some flower pattern and things like that. So another thing that you want to do, here's another pro tip, is you want to make sure that you cater to the season. So right now it's wintertime. It's obviously not snowing where we're in Florida, so it's not snowing in here. But it is cold today. It is in the 50s and going to be the 40s tonight. But in places like up north where it snows, Michigan, Ohio, things like that, you want to cater to the season. So we'll probably keep buying winter boots and things like that for another month or two, and then we'll start winging out, and then we'll start getting into things for the next season.
And to that point, you may think, well, why did you buy sandals? We are still going to stock our store because there will be springtime soon, and we do live in Florida, and therefore there are people who are buying sandals because we don't wear closed-toe shoes a lot of the time. So we do have those when they're a good price, and when they're ones that we feel really, really confident that they are going to sell. So we do that. However, definitely we're going to pick up the things that are going to match the season. So that's why the boots. We probably would not have bought something like these Bear Paw if it were the middle of summer. We may have, but probably not, because there's just no reason for it to sit. We find shoes all the time, and there's no reason for us to just, our space it's just not necessary.
So the moral of the story is take advantage of your thrift stores. I know there's other different types of thrift stores throughout the country, not just Goodwills or Salvation Armies, but I think somebody said they have like a Super Saver or other places like that. Make sure you also subscribe to their newsletter. We found out, and actually somebody came up and said, "Hey, did you know it was 50%?" Well, we had no idea because we weren't part of the newsletter.
I had the newsletter. For some reason, that one I had missed. So I had to go back in, and it was in my junk file or something. So we would have walked up to the register and not had our discount on that day. So just be on top of things. A lot of them also have Facebook pages. Go onto that because most of the time they announce it on their Facebook page too.
A lot of the places have, like in our area, so all the areas are different. You just have to find out what your area's thrift stores sales, when they are and what they're holding. A lot of the time throughout the country, they do color sales, like it's 50% off red or green or whatever the case. We don't have that here.
There are in some of the other counties. We have visited. We don't go that far because we have so much. And it's been interesting that we've gone other places and actually still seen those. So just find out what their deals are and when they have specials. Some of them will have senior days. So if you qualify for that, make sure you use that. Subscribe, join Facebook page. Also, make friends with the staff. We are very friendly with the staff, and sometimes we can find out something's coming up. Most of the time they don't really tell us exactly what it is, but they'll give us a little bit of hint to be on the lookout for, and that type of thing is
And
good.
another pro tip is don't just look on the shelf. They're rolling out big crates of fresh merchandise like every 10 or 15 minutes. Go through those. There's a lot that we find a lot of the stuff that hasn't even been put out on the shelf yet. So look through those bins. Find out what your sales are. Find out what days they run. Over here, every Tuesday is 15% off. Our coupon each month. This month it's $7 off 30. So it just depends. That is how you're going to make the most profit on these items. So if this video helped you, please subscribe. Smash that like button. It helps us out tremendously. We will do more videos to come, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.